现在就是都跑到这边来过夜。
都怕出现第二次事故，他们国际进补把我们安排在这里。
安排着烤火。那晚上怎么睡觉？
他们给这个床、给被子、给吃的，什么都给了。
您今晚上睡哪边？您今晚上睡哪边？
楼上还有很多人。
那晚饭怎么吃的呀？
晚上有饭，有面包，有方便面，有馒头，有盒饭。
Moving on still from China, according to the China Earthquake Network Center, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake jolted Wuxi County in Aksu Prefecture in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region at around 2 a.m. local time Tuesday.
The center said that the epicenters had a depth of 22 kilometers and was monitored at 41.26 degrees north latitude and 78.63 degrees east longitude. The centers added that the main quake was followed by a succession of aftershocks as strong as 5.3 in magnitude.
Preliminary report indicates that the epicenter was situated in a township in Wuxi County within the mountainous border area between China and Kyrgyzstan. The quakes were felt strongly in the Aksu area, and a local resident told China News Service that many people rushed to open space for safety.
Now, as mentioned, this 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck a sparsely populated part of China's western Xinjiang region earlier on Tuesday. The quake injured 6 people and damaged more than 120 homes amid these freezing weather temperatures.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ukhturpan County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
The region is heavily militarized, and state broadcasters CCTV showed military troops moving in before dawn to clear rubble and set up tents for those displaced. 2 of 6 were seriously injured and 4 had minor injuries. Additionally, 47 houses collapsed, 78 houses were damaged, and some agricultural structures were ruined.
Aksu authorities reported that the quake downed power lines, but electricity was quickly restored. According to Xinjiang authorities, mountainous Ukhturpan County had around 233,000 people in 2022. Meanwhile, the U.S. Geological Survey stated that the quake measured 7.0 magnitude and occurred in the seismically active Tian Shan mountain range. It is considered as the area's largest quake in the last century, with a 7.1 magnitude in 1978. It occurred about 200 kilometers north of the epicenter of Tuesday's quake. Multiple aftershocks were recorded, with the strongest of them at 5.2 magnitude.
The rural area is populated mostly by a Turkish ethnic group called Uyghurs, who are predominantly Muslim. This group has been the target of a state campaign for forced assimilation and mass detention. This week, the China Meteorological Administration forecasted that the Ukhturpan County recorded temperatures well below freezing, with lows down to negative 18 degrees Celsius.
And from China, we're pulling you back to Indonesia. Medical Emergency Rescue Committee, or MERCI Indonesia, continues to support Palestinians who are now taking refuge at 2 school buildings in South Gaza.
Yeah, the committee, along with Indonesian citizens, distributed 2,000 liters of clean waters for displaced Palestinians.
Israeli military aggressions in the southern part of Gaza has forced Palestinians living in worrisome conditions without any access to basic needs, including clean water and food. Therefore, the Medical Emergency Rescue Committee, or MERCI Indonesia, distributed 2,000 liters of clean water for the displaced Palestinians, who are now taking refuge at 2 school buildings in South Gaza. The Palestinians were seen enthusiastically collecting clean water at the refugee shelters. Currently, there are around 1,800 Palestinians are taking shelters in the area, with over 100 of them suffered from injuries.
Kami membuat program makanan siap saji, WC darurat, makanan pakaian hangat buat anak-anak kecil ataupun para warga di sini. Kami juga alhamdulillah membeli ya untuk setiap harinya, insya Allah ini akan diprogramkan 2.000 liter, teman-teman. Ini air minum ya, buat air minum untuk para pengungsi yang ada di 2 sekolahan tempat kami berada. Sekitar totalnya ada 1.800 warga yang mengungsi dan juga terdapat lebih dari 100 warga luka-luka ya yang ada di 2 sekolahan ini. Dan alhamdulillah antusias warga sangat-sangat senang sekali, banyak sekali yang mereka datang langsung untuk mengambil air minum ini.
One of the volunteers at Mercy Indonesia stressed that this assistance is free of charge and it is not for sale. See Today contributor reporting from Gaza.
Let's take you to the Red Sea, where New Zealand has announced on Tuesday that it would send a 6-member team to join an international coalition to uphold maritime security in the Red Sea.
The announcement comes in response to the U.S. and British military conducting airstrikes on multiple Houthi-controlled locations in Yemen on Monday night. This marks the second time the allies have coordinated retaliatory strikes against the rebels' missile launching capabilities.
New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon said that defense personnel will contribute to the collective self-defense of ships in the Middle East from operational headquarters in the region and elsewhere.
Yeah, Luxon emphasized that the Houthi attacks will not be tolerated. The deployment is mandated to conclude no later than July the 21st later this year. Iranian-backed Houthis have targeted shipping in the region's waterways, claiming that their aims is to end Israel's involvement in the Gaza Strip, Palestine.
The Houthi attacks are illegal, they're unacceptable, and they're profoundly destabilizing. And we and our partners have made repeated calls for them to stop. The Houthi choose to defy those warnings, and indeed their attacks become even more indiscriminate. So it is a logical consequence that we join international partners in tackling this ongoing threat to security. More than 60 nations have been affected in at least 31 attacks by the Houthi on ships in recent months. And choosing to support action in the Middle East is not unusual for New Zealand. New Zealand has contributed to maritime security efforts in the Middle East and elsewhere continuously since 2013 to protect not only our vital national interests, but also the international rules-based order.
From Indonesia, President Joko Widodo handed over land certificates for locals in Central Java during his work trip earlier today. The government intends to complete 126 million land certifications for Indonesians across the country.
Yeah, the government gave away some 3,000 land certificates to locals in Grobogan Regency as a part of the Assets Redistributions, Agrarian Reform and Complete Systematic Land Registrations, or PTSL.
The public was seen enthusiastic after receiving their land ownership, and as of 2023, the government has certified more than 100 million plots of land across Indonesia.
These land certificates are deemed important as proof of legal right for the landowner and also serves to prevent land conflicts. The president has advised the public to keenly use the land certificates as collateral at the bank to ensure they can pay loan interest.
Tidak bisa 500.000 per tahun, dan saya minta saat itu 5 juta per tahun. Ternyata bisa 2016. Saya minta 7 juta, bisa lagi. Sekarang sudah lebih dari 10 juta per tahun. Sehingga sampai saat ini tanah di seluruh Indonesia yang sudah bersertifikat berapa Pak Menteri? 110 juta. Sudah 110 juta. Tinggal dikit sekali, hitungan saya kemarin kalau nggak ada COVID kan 2 tahun, kalau nggak ada COVID itu selesai 126 juta. Tapi enten COVID, nggih, mundur dikit ke tahun depan pun rampung.
Now, it's not just Indonesia who's preparing for an election this year. We're going to the United States, where former U.S. President Donald Trump appealed for unity just hours before primary voters in New Hampshire cast their ballots in the first in-the-nation GOP primary.
We learned a lot from
The race for 2024 Republican presidential nomination is now down to 2 major candidates. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has once seen as Donald Trump's biggest obstacle in the GOP primary, dropped his bid Sunday. He backed the former president over former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley.
Trump was joined on stage Monday night by three of his former opponents who have now endorsed him. There were South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
The show of force, which was interrupted several times by climate change protesters, is part of a broader effort by Trump's team to lock up the primary and demonstrate that the party is rallying around him.
Every day the Republican Party is becoming more and more unified, and it is, and you see what happened. I mean, we had a very good competitor, Ron, as you know, Ron DeSantis, and he fought hard and he fought well, and now we have one left. We started off with, really, if you add some Democrats into it, we started off with 13, and now we're down to 2 people. And I think one person will be gone probably tomorrow. And the other one will be gone in November. But now is the time for the Republican Party to come together. We have to unify. That's why I'm delighted to be joined today by a number of outstanding leaders, big leaders, powerful leaders, greatly respected leaders. And they're also unbelievable competitors. And we're all on the same team, 100% focused on Biden and beating him in November.
You guys do your part. Come out on Tuesday night, end this primary right here, off to defeat Joe Biden in November, and our best days as a nation are still yet ahead of us. Vote Trump, and that's how we do this.
Now, moving on to Indonesia's election, let's take a look at updates regarding the upcoming Indonesian general elections on Indonesia Votes 2024.
Yeah, the General Election Commission, or KPU, plans to enforce penalties on presidential and vice presidential candidate pairs found campaigning outside the scheduled time and designated zones.
To ensure compliance, the Commission, in collaboration with Election Supervisory Board, will conduct surveillance throughout the campaign period.
Well, the 2024 election campaign period set by the Commission spans 75 days, from November 28th of last year to February the 10th, upcoming in this year. According to Article 492 of Law Number 7 of 2017 regarding elections, all election participants are prohibited from conducting campaigns outside the specified schedule. Violators face the threat of imprisonment for up to 1 year and a maximum fine of 12 million rupiahs.
Nanti dapat teguran ya kalau seandainya betul ya bahwa berkampanye di luar jadwal dan zonasi yang ditentukan. Ini kan tidak sekedar zonasi tapi juga ada jadwalnya kan.
Jadi tegurannya dari Bawaslu atau KPU, Mas?
Dari KPU.
Di KPU mengawasi Pak untuk zona-zonanya itu ditaati atau tidak setiap harinya oleh Pak Hasan dan Perpak?
Ya ada KPU, ada Bawaslu ya.
And the campaign, of course, heats as the trails continue with presidential candidates touring various cities across the country.
Yeah, presidential candidate Anies Baswedan took his campaign run to Yogyakarta earlier today, commending the city for its significant role in Indonesia's history.
Baswedan in his campaign addressed the high cost of basic needs and the need to optimize special funds in the city.
Kita lihat, intinya begini, kebutuhan dilakukan assessment. Dari situ kemudian kita lakukan pengaturannya, supaya apa yang nanti didanai betul-betul akan bisa berjalan. Itu penting sekali. Tapi intinya kami ingin perubahan. Dan perubahan itu adalah meningkatkan yang ada, mengkoreksi yang ada, menghentikan yang dianggap tidak baik, dan membawa hal baru yang belum ada.
Meanwhile, Ganjar Pranowo is actively consolidating support by engaging with regional representative councils, campaign team, as well as volunteers across Salatiga, Central Java. The former Central Java governor is urging caterers and volunteers to continuously promote his program to the community.
Waktunya makin pendek dan tentu teman-teman di Salatiga punya rumus tersendiri untuk bisa menggerakkan masyarakat. Tadi kami mendapatkan informasi kesiapan dari kawan-kawan menghadapi pemilu dan mereka terus saja bergerak, berkolaborasi antara partai dengan para relawan.
And as we're going for our first quick break in the hour, but when we come back, we'll have the latest from Southeast Asia and around the world.
And later during the hour, I'll bring you the latest from the world of business.
Yeah, stay with us right here on the 3-Hour News Show, only on See Today.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu akan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
About you that makes me indulge in the company of your own kind.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah!
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi tuh hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Maris.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar, dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
The beauty and the excitement of being there,
indescribable through such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
A group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for us to today with business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see you today.
Welcome back to the Luthor News Show with SNC. Today it is time to look at news from Indonesia. Former Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK Chairman Firly Bahuri, who is also a suspect in the extortion of former Agriculture Minister Syahrul Yassin Limpo, files second pretrial motion over his suspect status.
Yeah, and like the previous one, he is now naming Jakarta Police Criminal Investigation Director, Senior Commissioner Ade Safri Simanjuntak as the respondent.
Former KPK Chairman Firly Bahuri has once again filed a pre-trial motion on January 22nd. This is a response to his designation as a suspect.
Ya, memang betul ada permohonan pra-peradilan yang didaftarkan kembali oleh Komjen Firly Bahuri melalui kuasa hukumnya pada hari Senin tanggal 22 Januari 2024 kemarin. Selanjutnya oleh Ketua Pengadilan sudah ditunjuk hakim tunggal yang akan memeriksa perkara tersebut, yaitu S. Yono SMH, yang mana sudah ditetapkan sidang pertama yaitu hari Selasa tanggal 30 Januari 2024.
Previously, the South Jakarta District Court turned down Firly Bahuri's attempt to file a pre-trial regarding alleged extortion and gratification against the former Agriculture Minister, with the Metro Jaya Police as the respondent. This rejection was made because all the evidence submitted by Firly Bahuri was irrelevant. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
On to our neighboring country, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MAAC, has revealed that a long list of individuals are expected to be summoned for an investigation regarding the mismanagement and procurement of government vehicles worth 4.5 billion Malaysian ringgits.
Yeah, the list includes former finance minister and a businessman with the title Tan Sri, who will be called to help shed light on two issues. MAAC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam said that the former minister will be asked to explain the reason behind the cancellations of government's contracts with a company that already received a letters of intent. He is also expected to provide information as to why the project was transferred to another company.
The list of names were put together after the Bureau conducted a series of searches on the unspecified businessman's home last Thursday. 4 companies are allegedly involved, one of which was responsible for supplying vehicles to the government. The MAAC said that they aim to obtain documents in order to determine a potential case of corruption. Sources added that the unspecified businessman was at home during the search. In response, the suspected company claimed to have been selected to manage the project through a letter of intent in 2018. However, it was terminated before an official announcement.
Yeah, the company has since taken legal actions against the government. Two international drugs dealers were apprehended by the Riau police while consuming methamphetamine.
Now, authorities also successfully seized 2.6 kilograms of the illegal substance, as well as thousands of ecstasy pills from the boarding house where the perpetrators were residing.
Elsewhere, police also successfully thwarted an attempt to smuggle thousands of ecstasy pills and methamphetamines from Malaysia.
3 individuals were apprehended as interstate methamphetamine couriers. Police arrested one of the suspects in Nongsa area of Batam, Riau Islands. Shortly after the suspected picked up thousands of ecstasy pills from the border waters between Indonesia and Malaysia.
The officers discovered thousands of ecstasy pills upon inspecting the suspect's car, specifically the cell phone box and handbag stored under the seat.
Okay.
Authorities then expanded their investigation to trace the suspect's network. Two more suspects were eventually arrested in Bengkalis, Riau province.
The authorities recovered 5 kilograms of methamphetamines wrapped in guanyin branch Chinese tea in the arrest.
Kita berhasil mengungkap yaitu diantaranya ekstasi dan sabu ya. Ekstasi kurang lebih ada 3.500-an ya tadi butir, termasuk sabu ada kurang lebih hampir 4 kg lebih ya, sabu tadi berhasil kita amankan. Ekstasi yang berhasil kita amankan tadi di mana? Di Nongsa ya. Di Nongsa itu barangnya dari Malaysia. Ini berarti kejahatan transnasional ya, yaitu jaringan internasional ya. Terus ya, tiap ya, bulan pasti ada pengungkapan. Ini artinya apa ya? Bahwasanya di Kepulauan Riau ini pintu masuk adanya narkotika yang ada di Indonesia ini melalui yaitu jalur-jalur yang mungkin jalur tikus dan sebagainya yang ada di Kota Batam. Dari keterangan penyidik ya, itu akan diajarkan di Kota Batam ini mungkin di beberapa tempat hiburan ya.
Meanwhile, the police conducted a raid on a room in a boarding house located along Jalan Tuanku Tembusai in Pekanbaru, Riau.
The officers discovered a drug dealer under the influence of methamphetamine. Another offender who was part of an international drugs network was also apprehended.
The raid yielded 2.6 kilograms of methamphetamine, 4,780 ecstasy pills, and 2,150 tablets of tranquilizer from inside the boarding house.
Yeah, it was discovered that the two suspects had recently sold 14 kilograms of methamphetamine to a dealer in Pekanbaru. So the suspects claim to have obtained the legal substances from Malaysia.
Berapa banyak barangnya?
Ini lagi bang, tinggal lagi.
Berapa banyak tinggal? Kau ambil berapa?
On to the next news. 5 vehicles were reported to have been involved in a traffic accident in Bogor, West Java earlier today.
Yeah, a dramatic video shows moments after the chain reactions car accident took place along Puncak Road, Cisarua. A box truck loaded with mineral water packages was reportedly slammed into a workshop and a restaurant in the area.
Multiple vehicles involved in the accident also suffered minor damages. The truck reportedly suffered brake failure when it was traveling from Cianjur to Jakarta.
Yang sudah dibawa ada 14 orang, terdiri dari luka ringan dan luka berat.
Ayo jalan Pak.
Sampai saat ini tidak ada korban meninggal. Rusak ada dua. Termasuk salah satunya rumah makan. Rumah makan sama bengkel, pelem.
Now, Indonesia will be the host country for the 10th World Water Forum from May 18th to May 25th.
Yeah, the province of Bali has been chosen as the venues for this significant event, with a theme centered around waters for shared prosperity. Prior to the event, the Indonesian Communication and Informatics Ministry organized a press conference featuring the Human Settlements Directors General at the Public Works Ministry.
During the forum, 6 sub-themes will be addressed, focusing on water security and prosperity, water for humans and nature, disaster risk reduction and management, governance, cooperation, hydro diplomacy, sustainable water finance, and finally, knowledge and innovation.
The forum will be held at separated levels. The sub-theme mentioned before will also be discussed at the regional level, as each region has different issues regarding freshwater availability. The forum will also be the place for leaders to meet, and the presidents of member of states, ministers, and head of international organization will also have their own session to discuss policies. As the host, Indonesia not only has the opportunity to showcase its initiative to the water provisions, but also aims to collaborate with other member states to address the challenge of ensuring access to clean drinking waters in the country.
According to projections from the National Statistics Agency, the available source water per person in Indonesia is expected to be only 181,000 cubic meters per year by 2035. This poses a significant concern, especially considering the anticipated 28% population growth from 237 million to 305 million in the same year.
Tantangan terbesar untuk mewujudkan ketersediaan air minum itu bukan hanya perubahan iklim. Kalau saya sebutkan ya, tantangan yang terbesar untuk mewujudkan ketersediaan air minum ini yang pertama itu adalah masalah kependudukan. Kependudukan kita ini kan makin lama kan bertambah terus ya. Apalagi adanya pertumbuhan penduduk dan urbanisasi ya. Sehingga kebutuhan air minum ini makin lama juga makin banyak. Nah, ini juga harus kita perhatikan bagaimana kita bisa menyediakan air bakunya ya. Tentunya harus kita sediakan agar daerah-daerah yang tidak memiliki air tentunya juga bisa mendapatkan air ya dengan adanya bendungan-bendungan tersebut. Ya, tadi saya sampaikan bahwa cakupan pelayanan air minum di Indonesia ini kan masih sangat-sangat terbatas ya, apalagi yang aman, yang layak dan yang aman. Nah, ini mesti harus menjadi perhatian kita.
This is certainly going to be a very interesting conference to really look out for.
And moreover, Bali is the islands of God. It's very famous for the event, international event. And actually, water crisis is a very crucial event. It's a crucial theme that Indonesia, I hope that Indonesia will bring something very clear, not only for Indonesia, but also the rest of the globe.
Well, it turns out that we'll be not only, last year with the ASEAN, now apparently this is the last international, multinational event that President Joko Widodo is going to be hosting in his, time as president. Certainly something to look forward to. We're going for another break.
And after the break, our colleague, Yani, will deliver some economics and business updates. Hi, Yani, come here.
Hello. Yes.
What do you have for us?
So, guys, how much of a gamer are you? I think you used to play games.
But not video games on the phone. I think that's past my age.
Well, what about you?
Don't ask me.
No. All right.
I don't.
He's a nerd.
I'm a nerd.
The only video games I play nowadays is Mario Kart with my daughter.
Agreed.
But hey, maybe you've heard of League of Legends. So their developer company, Riot Games, has just announced that they will lay off 11% of their workforce.
No way.
Yeah. So we'll have a lot more on that when we return. So stay here on the 3-Hour News Show on See Today.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Deja vu. It's like 4 hours with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetite and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Watching the 3-hour news show on See Today, and this is your business updates for this hour. First up, we have Vietnamese EV manufacturer VinFast fell short of its 2023 targets, delivering 34,855 units instead of the aim 40,000 to 50,000. The EV maker stated that economic challenges as well as slow EV adoption in certain regions had impacted the delivery plans. Although VinFast fell short of its target by only delivering 34,855 EVs in 2023, the figure represents a 7-fold increase from 2022, when the company only delivered 7,400 vehicles, all in Vietnam. In the fourth quarter of 2023 alone, VinFast delivered some 13,513 units, a 35% increase compared to the previous quarter. The company has delivered a total of 42,291 vehicles worldwide since 2021 until the last day of 2023. And as a part of its global expansion strategy, VinFast announced plans for a 4 billion EV plant in North Carolina, USA, and another 2 billion plant in Tamil Nadu, India. It also aims to invest up to 1.2 billion in Indonesia. Up next, tech giant Apple on Friday marked its entry into the virtual reality industry with the launch of Vision Pro. Now, the product, however, faces cautious sale expectations due to its high price and specialized use.
Apple's VR headset, the Vision Pro, is open for pre-orders starting at $3,499 and is scheduled for shipping on February the 2nd. This marks Apple's entry into the virtual reality industry, traditionally dominated by Meta, formerly known as Facebook, with its Meta Quest lines. In contrast to Meta's Quest 3, which retails at $500, the Vision Pro is steeply priced at $3,500. It is designed for developers working on Apple's new operating system, the Vision OS. Given its price point and its specific application, analysts do not anticipate Vision Pro sales to match Apple's other products. This cautious outlook aligns with Circana's findings, revealing a decline in VR headset and augmented reality glasses sales in the US from 1.1 billion in 2022 to just 644 million in 2023, a 40% drop in a year. The growing tensions between Apple and some software developers over its App Store and in-app purchase policies further impact the product. Major developers like Netflix, YouTube, and Spotify have already announced that their apps will not be available for Apple's Vision Pro.
But at this price point, with a technology that's still, developing, I still think this category is a couple years off, but it's important that they get this in the hands of developers because, again, for this platform to be successful, Apple needs their developers.
With a shrinking VR market and developers announcing their disinterest to develop into Apple's new Vision OS, it remains to be seen if Apple, known for its innovation, will succeed in this new VR industry.
Video game developer company Riot Games, which is owned by Chinese tech conglomerate Tencent, has announced that it will lay off 11% of its workforce. Now this means that around 530 Riot Games employees will be let go, as the company will also scale back on publishing games from smaller developers. In a letter published on their blog, Riot Games CEO Dylan Jadiha said that the layoffs were part of a move to create focus and head towards a more sustainable future. Riot Games is headquartered in California but is owned by Chinese conglomerate Tencent. Riot Games are known for publishing hugely popular games such as League of Legends and Valorant. Now, the company said it will lower its active staff for the Legends of Runeterra games. Layoffs have been rampant in the video game and tech industry, and in 2023, Microsoft laid off 10,000 workers amid slowing revenue growth. Meanwhile, at least 6,000 jobs were cut last year across a number of video games publishers, developers, and related companies. We still have one more updates for you. The Indonesian government, through the Ministry of Finance, has introduced a new tax rate for entertainment businesses ranging from 40 to 75%. This specifically impacts businesses such as karaoke establishment, steam baths, discos, and bars. However, this policy has sparked complaints and protests from numerous businesses, citing it as excessively high and potentially resulting in business closure. And there are also concerns about unclear definition for certain categories of entertainment that fall under the tax.
Lydia Kurniawati, Director of Regional Taxes and Levies at the Ministry of Finance, clarified that the minimum 40% tax on entertainment businesses serves not only to collect funds from the public, but also to exert control over specific types of entertainment activities. She argues that certain categories of entertainment businesses, such as karaoke, steam baths, discos, and bars, are predominantly accessible to particular groups of people.
Instrumen fiskal perpajakan antara lain salah satu fungsinya adalah fungsi regulatori, melakukan pengendalian. Nah, khusus untuk yang nomor urut 12 tadi, saya ulang, bar, diskotik, kelab malam, karaoke, mandi uap spa, karena merupakan jasa hiburan tertentu, maka diterapkanlah tarif tertentu. Kenapa? Karena dikonsumsi sebagian besar oleh masyarakat tertentu.
However, Tourism and Creative Economy Ministry has indicated that policies concerning specific taxes for certain entertainment businesses are presently undergoing a review or judicial examination.
Dari Kemenparekraf melalui Deputi 1 juga sudah melakukan kajian untuk ini. Jadi senyampang kita menunggu GR-nya, judicial review-nya yang sekarang sedang dalam proses untuk sidang pertama itu, tentunya ada beberapa hal yang bisa dilakukan oleh Kementerian Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif terkait dengan arahan Presiden kemarin.
Numerous businesses in the creative economy sector have expressed their discontent, contending that the proposed minimum tax rate of 40% is excessively high. Niluh Putu Ari, the founder of Niluh Jelantik and a social activist, criticized the policies, stating that they lack understanding of diverse nature of entertainment in Bali. She emphasized that not all spas offer exclusive services, as many are integral to health services. Similarly, with bars, there are numerous establishments that cater to lower-income groups. This tax policy, she argued, could have detrimental effects on the Balinese economy, which heavily relies on tourism and the entertainment industry, constituting 60% of its dependency.
Bali, 60%-nya adalah pariwisata. Kita jangan bisa menyamaratakan bahwa semua bisnis hiburan itu adalah hanya untuk orang tertentu. Kalau spa itu, mandi uap itu, kalau kita misalnya massage dengan para pelaku pekerja pariwisata yang berada di jalanan di Seminyak, di Legian dan di Kuta itu tarifnya hanya Rp150.000. Dengan tarif Rp150.000 dan kemudian diterapkan pajak seperti yang disampaikan oleh Ibu Lydia, itu sama dengan membunuh rakyat, Ibu.
To address all concerns, Lydia emphasized the determination of entertainment tax involves a crucial role for local governments. Regional governments are granted flexibility to make adjustments tailored to the characteristics and social challenges specific to the areas.
Dalam Undang-Undang HKPD itu memberikan kewenangan kepada kepala daerah. Yang pertama adalah menentukan tarif. Yang kedua adalah memberikan ruang kewenangan untuk memberikan insentif fiskal berupa pengurangan, keringanan,
pengecualian,
penghapusan, pengecualian.
The ongoing judicial review of the new 40% minimum tax rate initiated by entertainment businesses is currently taking place at the Constitutional Court. The Finance Ministry has expressed readiness to participate in the process and present its perspective on the matter. Arif Subakti and Nugo Raharjo reporting for C Today.
All right, viewers, we will have more business updates in the second hour. But for now, please don't go anywhere just yet, because when we return, Aditya Warman will deliver you the latest from sports. So stay tuned.
A group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this is the travel note, because life is dope.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to 3-Hour News Show. My name is Aditya Warman. Let's kick some news from the world of sport. We start the updates from the 2024 Daihatsu Indonesia Masters, where the Jafar Hidayatullah and Aisyah Salsabila Putri Pranata mixed doubles pair have qualified for the tournament. Tuesday's match saw the pair defeat their Taiwanese opponents, Chiu Xiangxie and Lin Xiaomin, 21-15, 21-17 in Jakarta. The pair were seen struggling to adapt to the field during the first set due to strong gusts of wind. Still on the Indonesia Masters, where world number 38 Kento Momota suffered a loss this afternoon to the 54th seeded Huang Yukai of Taiwan. The match went intense, with the 29-year-old Momota heavily struggling with net play. Huang, on the other hand, showed remarkable resilience to beat the 2018 Indonesia Master champion 23-21, 22-20. Former world number 1 Momota has not secured a single win since his last appearance at the 2023 Korean Masters.
そうですね。コリアマスターズ、優勝できて、全日本総合も、優勝できて、いい流れで、今大会挑みたかったんですけど、この予選で負けてしまったっていうのは、すごく残念な気持ちでいっぱいです。特に何もなかったですけど、自分が自信を持って、ネット前のプレーができなかったのが敗因かなと思います。
Let's update for the event in Jakarta. In the previous segment, Leo Ronaldi Carrado and Daniel Martin, Indonesian pair, beat German pairs Mark Lamses and Marvin Seidel 21-16 and 21-17. And the next will be followed with Indonesian pair Fajar Alfian and Muhammad Rian Ardianto will face Taiwanese opponent Lee Jian-shui and Yan Po Swen. And also earlier today is Melissa Tian Puspitasari and Rachel Ashan Rose will feed also from Taiwanese opponent Lee Chia Swen and Teng Chui Sun. And in the next session, Indonesian pairs Sabar Karyawan Gutama and Mohreza Fakhlevi Isfani also will beat, hopefully, for South Korean pair Kim Wong-hoo and Nan Sun-seong. And the last, Indonesian in the field 1, Apriani Rahayu and Siti Fadia Sylvia Ramadanti will feed the Netherlands pair Deborah Gile and Cyril Seinen. And we have to reading some news from Alexander Zverev, pulled through a dramatic 5-set triumph against Cameron Noir to book his quarterfinal spot at Australian Open. Zverev held his nerve in deciding set tie break in the roller coaster match, full with twists and turns. This improved his record to 8-1 down under this season. Zverev makes big serves with a consistent baseline play to barely hold off Norris' spread charge. On the other hand, his UK opponent frequently came to the net or deployed drop shots to try to disrupt Zverev's rhythm. So the German decisively raised his level in the deciding the break. However, he won 8 of final 9 points in the match for the 4-hour, 5-minute victory. This earned Zverev a spot in the quarterfinals at Melbourne Park, where he will take off the second seed Carlos Alcaraz in his hunt for his first Grand Slam title. Yeah, that's wrap for sport for this hour, but when we return, we have more information. So keep here only on 3-Hour News Show on See Today.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi tetap susah banget.
may indulge in the company of your own kind.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi tuh hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
A group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Across the world, thank you for joining us on the 3-hour news show on See Today. This is going to be a very eventful hour because in this hour we'll have a special international guest. We'll have the Foreign Minister of the United Republic, the Foreign Minister, the Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania.
Right.
Now, it is a country that is in the bucket list of a lot of people, and we cannot wait to share stories of bilateral cooperation between Tanzania and Indonesia, of course, multilateral with Southeast Asia as well. Now, we'll also bring you the latest news from around the world, Indonesia, Southeast Asia. I'm your host for today, still Kai Surya. With me are Aditya Warman and Hiliani Hidranto.
Hi.
Hi, all right.
Are you excited for the second hour?
Yes, I'm excited.
You talk with the minister, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I am really excited because that's like bucket list, right? The highest mountain in Africa, Kilimanjaro.
Serengeti.
Serengeti National Park.
National Park.
That's like where Lion King basically is situated.
Let's make a list for the 2024. And meanwhile, my name is Aditya Warman. Welcome to 3-hour news show. Make sure you follow us on X, Instagram, and YouTube at See Today News for the latest updates. And with us today is Gianni for the latest from the world of business.
That's right. Thank you, Aditya Warman. Hi, everyone. My name is Hiliani Hidranto. We'll take a look at market and business updates from the country, the region, and elsewhere around the world. But now, let's take a look at what made the top stories for today.
From Indonesia, Indonesian President Joko Widodo handed over land certificates for locals in Central Java during his work trip earlier today.
Video game developer company Riot Games, which is owned by Chinese tech conglomerate Tencent, announced it will lay off 11% of its workforce.
In See Today Sport, mixed doubles pair Jafar Hidayatullah and Aisa Salsabila Putri Pranata have secured a ticket to the 2024 Daihatsu Indonesia Masters.
hour, in our See the Story segment, we'll have a chat with a dermatologist on how to reduce body odor naturally to guarantee a fresh scent all day long. Now let's start with news from around the world. We're heading to China, who's been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Yeah, the landslide occurred in Liangshui village in the city of Zhangtong at about 6 a.m. local time, with 47 people reported missing.
As of 10 p.m. on Monday, 11 people were found dead due to a collapse in a steep cliff area. Rescue efforts are ongoing, with teams working non-stop through the night.
On Tuesday morning, more manpower and equipment were sent to the affected area. The collapse measured about 100 meters, approximately 6 meters in thickness.
Local authorities are assisting affected residents, providing shelter in a school and evacuating 213 people to safer places. Aid including tents, quilts, cotton coats, and emergency lighting equipment has been provided to those affected by disaster.
The local authorities are now providing assistance to those affected by the landslide in Yunnan province, while assuring proper support and settlement measures are in place.
Villagers seeking shelter at a two-story building of a local primary school were seen provided with enough drinking water, instant food, and kilts.
And as the number of casualties has risen to over 70, family members of the missing people and residents from nearby villages also rushed to the shelter.
已经去城里面安顿好了，有一部分在凉水中那个中心小已经安顿好了，有一部分那个头新靠友他已经安顿好了，这一部分是临时新展临时住下。这里是四个村民组，
四个村小组现在就是都跑到这边来过夜，
都怕重新第二次施工，他们国际政府把我们安排在这里。
安排着烤火，那晚上怎么睡觉？
他们给这个床、给被子、给吃的，什么都给了。
您今晚上睡哪边？您今晚上睡哪边？
楼上还有很多人。
那晚饭怎么吃的呀？
晚上有饭，有面包，有方便面，有馒头，有盒饭。
Now we're staying in China, where according to the China Earthquake Network Center, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake jolted Wuxi County in Aksu Prefecture in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region at around 2 a.m. local time Tuesday.
Yeah, the center said that the epicenter had a depth of 22 kilometers and was monitored at 41.26 degrees north latitude and 78.63 degrees east longitude. The centers added that the main quake was followed by the successions of aftershocks as strong as 5.3 in magnitude.
Preliminary report indicates that the epicenter was situated in a township in Wuxi County within the mountainous border area between China and Kyrgyzstan. The quakes were felt strongly in the Aksu area, and a local resident told China News Service that many people rushed to open space for safety.
Now, as mentioned, the 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck a sparsely populated part of China's western Xinjiang region early on Tuesday. The quake injured 6 people and damaged more than 122 homes amid freezing temperatures.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ukhturpan County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
The region is heavily militarized, and state broadcasters CCTV show military troops moving in before dawn to clear rubble and set up tents for those displaced. 2 of the 6 were seriously injured and 4 had minor injuries. Additionally, 47 houses collapsed, 78 houses were damaged, and some agriculture structures were ruined.
Aksu authorities reported that the quake downed power lines, but electricity was quickly restored. According to Xinjiang authorities, mountainous Ukhturpan County had around 233,000 people in 2022. Meanwhile, the U.S. Geological Survey stated that the quake measured 7.0 magnitude and occurred in the seismically active Tian Shan mountain range. It is considered as the area's largest quake in the last century, with a 7.1 magnitude in 1978. It occurred around 200 kilometers north of the epicenter of Tuesday's quake. Multiple aftershocks were recorded, with the strongest of them at 5.3 magnitude.
The rural area is populated mostly by a Turkish ethnic group called Uyghurs, who are predominantly Muslim. This group has been the target of a state campaign for forced assimilation and mass detention. This week, the China Meteorological Administration forecasted that the Ukhturpan County recorded temperatures well below freezing, with lows down to negative 18 degrees Celsius.
On to Indonesia, Medical Emergency Rescue Committee, or MERCI Indonesia, continues to support Palestinians who are now taking refuge at 2 school buildings in southern Gaza.
Yeah, the committee, along with Indonesian citizens, distributed 2,000 liters of clean waters for displaced Palestinians.
Israeli military aggressions in the southern part of Gaza has forced Palestinians living in worrisome conditions without any access to basic needs, including clean water and food. Therefore, the Medical Emergency Rescue Committee, or MERCI Indonesia, distributed 2,000 liters of clean water for the displaced Palestinians, who are now taking refuge at 2 school buildings in South Gaza. The Palestinians were seen enthusiastically collecting clean water at the refugee shelters. Currently, there are around 1,800 Palestinians are taking shelters in the area, with over 100 of them suffered from injuries.
Kami membuat program makanan siap saji, WC darurat, makanan pakaian hangat buat anak-anak kecil ataupun para warga di sini. Kami juga alhamdulillah membeli ya untuk setiap harinya, insya Allah ini akan diprogramkan 2.000 liter teman-teman. Ini air minum ya, buat air minum untuk para pengungsi yang ada di 2 sekolahan tempat kami berada. Sekitar totalnya ada 1.800 warga yang mengungsi, dan juga terdapat lebih dari 100 warga luka-luka ya yang ada di 2 sekolahan ini. Dan alhamdulillah antusias warga sangat-sangat senang sekali, banyak sekali yang mereka datang langsung untuk mengambil air minum ini.
One of the volunteers at MERCI Indonesia stressed that this assistance is free of charge and it is not for sale. See Today contributor reporting from Gaza.
Meanwhile, tensions in the Red Sea continue to build up as New Zealand announced on Tuesday that it would send a 6-member team to join an international coalition to uphold maritime security in the Red Sea.
The announcement comes in response to the U.S. and British military conducting airstrikes on multiple Houthi-controlled locations in Yemen on Monday night. This marks the second time the Allies have coordinated retaliatory strikes against the rebels' missile launching capabilities.
New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon said that defense personnel will contribute to the collective self-defense of ships in the Middle East from operational headquarters in the region and elsewhere.
The Luxon emphasized that the Houthi attacks will not be tolerated. The deployment is mandated to conclude no later than July the 31st later this year. Iranian-backed Houthis have targeted shipping in the region's waterways, claiming that they aim to end Israel's involvement in the Gaza Strip, Palestine.
The Houthi attacks are illegal, they're unacceptable, and they're profoundly destabilizing. And we and our partners have made repeated calls for them to stop. The Houthi choose to defy those warnings, and indeed their attacks become even more indiscriminate. So it is a logical consequence that we join international partners in tackling this ongoing threat to security. More than 60 nations have been affected in at least 31 attacks by the Houthi on ships in recent months. And choosing to support action in the Middle East is not unusual for New Zealand. New Zealand has contributed to maritime security efforts in the Middle East and elsewhere continuously since 2013 to protect not only our vital national interests, but also the international rules-based order.
Let's head over to Indonesia, where President Joko Widodo handed over land certificates for locals in Central Java during his work trip earlier today. The government intends to complete 126 million land certifications for Indonesians across the country.
The government gave away some 3,000 land certificates to locals in Grobogan Regencies as a part of the Assets Redistribution's agrarian reform and complete systematic land registration, or PTSL.
The public was seen enthusiastic after receiving their land ownership. As of 2023, the government has certified more than 100 million plots of land across Indonesia.
These land certificates are deemed important as proof of legal right for the landowners and also serves to prevent land conflicts. The president has advised the public to keenly use the land certificates as collateral at the bank to ensure they can pay loan interests.
Yang pegang sertifikat tidak bisa 500.000 per tahun dan saya minta saat itu 5 juta per tahun. Ternyata bisa 2016. Saya minta 7 juta, bisa lagi. Sekarang sudah lebih dari 10 juta per tahun. Sehingga sampai saat ini tanah di seluruh Indonesia yang sudah bersertifikat berapa Pak Menteri? 110 juta. Sudah 110 juta. Tinggal dikit sekali, hitungan saya kemarin kalau nggak ada COVID kan 2 tahun, kalau nggak ada COVID itu selesai 126 juta. Tapi enten COVID, nggih, mundur dikit ke tahun depan pun rampung.
Let's move on to the United States. Former U.S. President Donald Trump appealed for unity just hours before primary voters in New Hampshire cast their ballots in the first in the nation GOP primary.
Yeah, the race for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination is now down to 2 major candidates. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who was once seen as Donald Trump's biggest obstacle in GOP primary, dropped his bid Sunday. He backed the former president over former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley.
Trump was joined on stage Monday night by 3 of his former opponents who have now endorsed him. There were South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
The show of force, which was interrupted several times by climate change protesters, is part of a broader effort by Trump's team to lock up the primary and demonstrate that the party is rallying around him.
We learned a lot. Every day the Republican Party is becoming more and more unified, and it is, and you see what happened. I mean, we had a very good competitor, Ron, as you know, Ron DeSantis, and he fought hard and he fought well, and now we have one left. We started off with, really, if you add some Democrats into it, we started off with 13, and now we're down to 2 people. And I think one person will be gone probably tomorrow. And the other one will be gone in November. But now is the time for the Republican Party to come together. We have to unify. That's why I'm delighted to be joined today by a number of outstanding leaders, big leaders, powerful leaders, greatly respected leaders. And they're also unbelievable competitors. And we're all on the same team, 100% focused on Biden and beating him in November.
You guys do your part. Come out on Tuesday night. End this primary right here. Off to defeat Joe Biden in November. And our best days as a nation are still yet ahead of us. Vote Trump, and that's how we do this.
Now, from one election, let's move to the Indonesian general elections upcoming. Let's take a look at the latest updates on Indonesia Votes 2024.
General Elections Commission, or KPU Commissioner Betty Epsilon Idrus, discovered an additional 76,000 damaged ballots during a visit to Ambon, Maluku. The unusable ballots will be destroyed before the distribution process.
On Tuesday, KPU Commissioner inspected the preparation of ballot logistics packaging, which will be distributed from the logistics warehouse to all villages in Ambon. During the visit, a total of 76,940 sheets of damaged and unusable ballots were identified across 11 regencies and cities in Maluku, discovered during the sorting and folding process in each region.
And following standard operating procedures, the damaged ballot papers must be destroyed before distribution to the voting locations. And the most extensively damaged ballot papers were found in various regions, including Tual, Southwest Maluku Regency, Buru, South Buru, Aru Islands, Central Maluku, Southeast Maluku, West Seram, and Ambon. It is anticipated that the replacement for the damaged 2024 election ballots can be promptly dispatched to ensure the smooth implementation of elections in Maluku.
Alhamdulillah kalau melihat situasinya, gudang sangat representatif dibantu oleh Pemkot Kota Ambon dalam hal ini. Lalu kalau melihat juga tata cara penyusunan, lalu kemudian pengepakan, tata cara pengamanan juga dibantu oleh pihak kepolisian, lalu pihak tentara. Dalam hal ini juga sangat teratur, sangat rapi. Juga sangat aman, nyaman dalam hal melakukan pengepakan sebelum nanti dikirim ke TPS, dalam hal ini logistik pemilu tahun 2024.
Now let's take a look at campaign efforts. Presidential candidate Anies Rashid Baswedan held a dialogue session earlier today in Yogyakarta's Rocket Convention Hall.
The event, called Desak Anies, brought together hundreds of young people across the city.
Yeah, in a separate event, Ganjar Pranowo paid a visit to an Islamic culture-based boarding school in Kendal, Central Java. Presidential candidate number 1, Baswedan, underlined his commitment to prioritizing human resources development and education, highlighting the importance of equity and sustainability in achieving goals. He further responded steps such as promoting social justice beyond Jakarta and Java Island.
Number 1 is refocusing our development priority. That we need to come back to the original idea why we had independence to begin with. 1, we want to ensure there is a social justice, fairness. And number 2, ensuring that development is about human capital. And therefore, health and education are 2 issues that have to be on the very top of our priority. And that's what we offer, bringing back human capital development as our main priority.
Now, in a separate event, Ganjar Pranowo paid a visit to an Islamic culture-based boarding school in Kendal, Central Java. He discussed the urgency of empowering local artists to preserve Indonesian culture and boost economic growth.
The strategies include involving artists in national dialogue and policy making, as well as strengthening the discourse and policies on intellectual property rights.
Maka ini model-model pondok pesantren yang cukup lengkap dengan tradisi keindonesiaan yang ada. Ngaji jalan, kerajinan batik.
Presented the donation of drilling rigs and pipelines to establish clean water sources at the Al-Anwar Islamic Boarding School in Patereman Village, Modung, Bangkalan, East Java.
Yeah, furthermore, Subianto participated in discussions with representatives of community leaders from Bangkalan, Sumeneb, Sampang, who were provided support to access clean waters via teleconference.
And that wraps up our first segment in this hour. We are going to take a break, but for this hour, when we come back, we have a special interview with our special guest coming in the studio, and more from Southeast Asia and around the world.
And later during the hour, I'll bring you the latest from the world of business.
So keep here to our new show on See Today.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian.
hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for Steve Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to be such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi tuh hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Welcome back to the 3 Hour News Show with us on See Today. Now let's take a look at Indonesian and regional updates from Indonesia first. Former Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK Chairman Firly Bahuri, who is also a suspect in the extortion of former Agriculture Minister Syahrul Yassin Limpo, files the second pre-trial motion over his suspect status.
Yeah, unlike the previous one, he is now naming Jakarta Police Criminal Investigation Director, Senior Commissioner Ade Safri Simanjuntak as the respondent.
Former KPK Chairman Firly Bahuri has once again filed a pre-trial motion on January 22nd. This is a response to his designation as a suspect.
Ya memang betul ada permohonan pra-peradilan yang didaftarkan kembali oleh Komjen Firly Bahuri melalui kuasa hukumnya pada hari Senin tanggal 22 Januari 2024 kemarin. Selanjutnya oleh Ketua Pengadilan sudah ditunjuk hakim tunggal yang akan memeriksa perkara tersebut yaitu Eswiono SMH yang mana sudah ditetapkan sidang pertama yaitu hari Selasa tanggal 30 Januari 2024.
Previously, the South Jakarta District Court turned down Firly Bahuri's attempt to file a pre-trial regarding alleged extortion and gratification against the former Agriculture Minister with the Metro Jaya Police as the respondent. This rejection was made because all the evidence submitted by Firly Bahuri was irrelevant. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
Now move on to Malaysia, as the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MAAC, has revealed that a long list of individuals are expected to be summoned for an investigation regarding the mismanagement and procurement of government vehicles worth 4.5 billion Malaysian ringgits.
Yeah, the list includes former finance minister and a businessman with the title Tan Sri, who will be called to help shed light on two issues. MAAC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam said that the former minister will be asked to explain the reason behind the cancellations of government contracts with a company that already received a letter of intent. He is also expected to provide information as to why the project was transferred to another company.
The list of names was put together after the Bureau conducted a series of searches on the unspecified businessman's home last Thursday. 4 companies are allegedly involved, one of which was responsible for supplying vehicles to the government. The MAAC said that they aim to obtain documents in order to determine a potential case of corruption. Sources added that the unspecified businessman was at home during the search. In response, the suspected company claimed to have been selected to manage the project through a letter of intent in 2018. However, it was terminated before the official announcement.
Yet the company has since taken legal action against the government. Meanwhile, 2 international drug dealers were apprehended by the Rio police while consuming methamphetamine.
Now, authorities also successfully seized 2.6 kilograms of the illegal substance, as well as thousands of ecstasy pills from the boarding house where the perpetrators were residing.
Elsewhere, police also successfully thwarted an attempt to smuggle thousands of ecstasy pills and methamphetamine from Malaysia.
3 individuals were apprehended as interstate methamphetamine couriers. Police arrested one of the suspects in the Nongsa area of Batam, Riau Islands shortly after the suspect picked up thousands of ecstasy pills from the border waters between Indonesia and Malaysia.
Officers discovered thousands of ecstasy pills upon inspecting the suspect's car, specifically the cell phone box and the handbag stored under the seat.
Authorities then expanded their investigation to trace the suspect's network. 2 more suspects were eventually arrested in Bengkalis, Riau province.
Authorities recovered 5 kilograms of methamphetamine wrapped in Guanyin brand Chinese tea in the arrest.
Ini kita berhasil mengungkap yaitu diantaranya ekstasi dan sabu ya. Ekstasi kurang lebih ada 3.500-an ya tadi butir, termasuk sabu ada kurang lebih hampir 4 kg lebih ya sabu tadi berhasil kita amankan. Ekstasi yang berhasil kita amankan tadi di mana? Di Nongsa ya. Di Nongsa itu barangnya dari Malaysia. Ini berarti kejahatan transnasional ya, yaitu jaringan internasional ya. Terus ya, tiap ya, bulan pasti ada pengungkapan. Ini artinya apa ya? Bahwasanya di Kepulauan Riau ini pintu masuk adanya narkotika yang ada di Indonesia ini melalui yaitu jalur-jalur yang mungkin jalur tikus dan sebagainya yang ada di Kota Batam. Dari keterangan penyidik ya, kita akan diajarkan di Kota Batam ini mungkin di beberapa tempat hiburan ya di Kota Batam.
Meanwhile, the police conducted a raid on a room in a boarding house located along Jalan Tuanku Tambusai in Pekanbaru, Riau.
The officers discovered a drug dealer under the influence of methamphetamine. Another offender, who was a part of an international drug network, was also apprehended.
This raid yielded 2.6 kilograms of methamphetamine, 4,780 ecstasy pills, and 2,150 tablets of tranquilizer from inside the boarding house.
Yeah, it was discovered that the 2 suspects has recently sold 14 kilograms of methamphetamine to a dealer in Pekanbaru. The suspects claim to have obtained the illegal substances from Malaysia. Meanwhile, the Bengkalis Police Narcotics Units recently prevented drugs from smuggled to Indonesia through Malacca Strait.
The drug smugglers led police on an offshore chase and prompted authorities to fire a few warning shots.
Yeah, the police detained 4 suspects linked with an international drug syndicate and seized 5 kilograms of methamphetamine.
The drug smugglers attempted to flee when they were found by the Bengkalis Police Narcotics Unit at the Bantan Sub-District in Riau. The police pursued the suspects and fired several warning shots.
The authorities end up detaining 2 suspects and seizing 5 kilograms of methamphetamine as evidence. Following further investigation, the police arrested 2 other suspects who were said to deliver the drugs from Malaysia to the drug dealer in Pekanbaru.
The 4 suspects are now detained at the Bengkalis police headquarters and have been charged with anti-narcotics law, which may land them the death penalty.
Telah mendapatkan informasi tentang adanya narkoba yang masuk dari negeri seberang, masuk melalui Selat Bengkalis, dan kemudian informasi itu ditindaklanjuti oleh tim gabungan dengan membagi tim, ada yang ada di standby di daratan dan di perairan. Tentunya itu kenapa kita perlu tim gabungan, ada juga dari Polair dan dari Bea Cukai, karena jalur peredarannya masih menggunakan jalur peredaran laut. Dan terhadap pengungkapan kasus ini, penyidik telah melakukan penangkapan terhadap 4 orang tersangka dengan barang bukti sabu jumlah kurang lebih 5 kg. Termasuk juga penangkapannya adalah di 2 lokasi, di lokasi daratan dan ditambahkan dengan lokasi yang di perairan, yaitu di atas speedboat dengan 1 speedboat yang diamankan, betul ya. Nah, tentunya kami dari aparat penegak hukum bergabung dengan instansi vertikal terkait lainnya, dalam hal ini adalah Bea Cukai, terus berkomitmen dalam hal pemberantasan kasus narkoba ini. Kita tahu bahwa negara kita merupakan daerah kita merupakan salah satu jalur peredaran masuknya narkoba dari seberang. Tentunya penguatan koordinasi dan kolaborasi berbagai pihak itu penting untuk dilakukan untuk memperkuat sinergitas dalam hal pengungkapan kasus narkoba ini.
Now let's move on to the Java Island, where 5 vehicles were reported to have been involved in a traffic accident in Bogor, West Java earlier today.
Yeah, a dramatic video shows moment after chain reaction car accident took place along Puncak Road, Cisarua. A box truck loaded with the mineral waters packages was reportedly slain into a workshop and restaurant in the area.
Multiple vehicles involved in the accident also suffered minor damages. The truck reportedly suffered brake failure when it was traveling from Cianjur to Jakarta.
Yang sudah dibawa ada 14 orang, terdiri dari luka ringan dan luka berat.
Ayo jalan Pak.
Sampai saat ini tidak ada korban meninggal. Rusak ada 2, termasuk salah satunya rumah makan. Rumah makan sama bengkel, pelek.
Yeah, we are going for another break, but something special coming up.
Yes, so make sure you keep it tight here with us on the 3 Hour News Show on See Today.
Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible, I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu akan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Maris.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports so you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Good
morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline Surakamada. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on Si Indonesia.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depot sih.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik ya. Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's like deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for Steve Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Hi, welcome back to 3-Hour News Show. Like we delivered before, Kai, we got a special guest here in our studio in Jakarta. Is the Foreign Minister of the Republic of Tanzania. But before talking about that, let's delve into the bilateral relation between Tanzania and Indonesia that's shifting our focus to the Eastern African region.
It's a beautiful region indeed. In an exclusive interview with Tanzanian Foreign Affairs Minister January Yusuf Makamba, we'll explore the collaborative and diplomatic ties between our two countries and highlight key developments. Let's take a look.
Yeah, Tanzania, with its vast land area and abundant natural resources, has established a diplomatic relations with Indonesia since 1961.
Diplomatic ties grew only stronger, especially during the Asian African Conference in Bandung.
Yeah, according to Tanzania Finance Ministry, the total trade between both of countries in 2021 amounted to $490.2 million, making Indonesia the fourth largest trading partners that year.
Now, in June 2023, Tanzania officially opened its diplomatic office here in Indonesia, reinforcing its position as a significant trading partner in East Africa.
Yeah, and later in August, Indonesian President Joko Widodo visited Tanzania, marking the first such visit in 30 years since President Suharto's visit in 1991.
Jokowi's visit resulted in collaborative efforts in the energy sector between Pertamina and Tanzania Petroleum Development Company.
Yeah, as two countries look ahead, their ongoing efforts focus on strengthening economic collaboration and diplomatic relations for a promising future. And to know more about the current and future state of Tanzania relations with Indonesia and Southeast Asia, we have in our studio the United Republic of Tanzania Ministers of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Your Excellency January Yusuf Makamba.
Welcome to the studio. Excellent.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine. I'm so happy to be here.
It's a pleasure and an honor for us here to welcome you and for you to fit us into your busy schedule. We have, a lot of very interesting questions. I'm a big fan of Tanzania because of, Kilimanjaro, Serengeti.
Serengeti.
It's in my bucket list.
Bucket list 2024.
Yes, and I'm here. I've brought some tickets and there's a
We're ready.
Amen.
Pack your luggage, Kai, now.
But you have to do a raffle or a draw, so we'll see who gets to win. But it's a beautiful country, just like Indonesia, and we increasingly have a lot of visitors from Indonesia coming to Tanzania.
Yes,
Sounds
and
cool.
speaking of, we've just mentioned that Tanzania and Indonesia have built quite a diplomatic relationship in the last year.
Yes.
Now, Tanzania and Indonesia have been fostering diplomatic relations since the Asia-Africa Conference, the legendary one in 1955. And while further solidifying their ties through the non-aligned move in 1961. Over the years, of course, both nations have maintained warm bilateral relations, highlighted by last year's President Joko Widodo's visit to Tanzania in August 2023. Now, one thing I would love to ask is, during the visit, Tanzania has expressed a keen interest in strengthening ties, particularly through developing a diplomatic school curriculum.
Yes.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
What kind of diplomatic school curriculum does Tanzania want to develop with Indonesia, and what role does Indonesia play in this matter?
Yeah. You see, one of the key pillars of our relations has been our collaborative effort, as you said, in non-aligned movement and international diplomacy. And we have seen how Indonesia's diplomacy has been successful over the past 20 years. Indonesia is becoming influential in the global arena. And therefore, something about Indonesia's diplomacy must be working. And we have a diplomatic school in Tanzania, and we operate in a different region. And we believe that if we work together to exchange techniques, to exchange knowledge, to exchange certain ideas in new strategies for diplomacy, we will all benefit. So these two schools, we've decided that they should work together. We'll exchange students, professors, research, books, techniques and tricks to align our interest in the global diplomatic forums.
That certainly is rare.
It is.
It's rare for somebody to ask Indonesia. It's not just SOE to SOE collaborations or investments, but we want to have diplomatic relations to develop a diplomatic curriculum. Well, thank you for having
Mr. Makamba, just refreshing my memory back to August 22nd, 2023, Indonesia, President Joko Widodo visited Tanzania. Let's talk about economy. As we know that both of countries will soon start negotiation on Provincial Trade Agreement, PTA, and also the Bilateral Investment Treaty, or BIT, to enhance the collaboration between both of countries. I just really want to know how far the negotiation is and what is the next session?
So as you know, these tools are very important. Both the PTA and BIT. They provide confidence to investors to come into a country. And we want to have both. As it is now, negotiations are ongoing. In terms of PTA, Tanzania is a member of East African Community, which is very advanced customs union and free trade area. Therefore, a bilateral agreement with Tanzania and another country have to be aligned with the protocol on free trade East African Community. So we have to align that, and that's what's going on. But before getting there, during this visit, we should mention that I'm here ahead of the visit of our President, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, to Indonesia. We will do a letter of intent on investment promotion and facilitation, and also we'll do a joint ministerial declaration on trade and investment. So while negotiations are ongoing on BIT and PTA, we can still work together through these other instruments to enhance trade and investment between our two countries.
Oh, it's certainly interesting. I mean, Indonesia has, expressed interest in investment as well. But we want to get to something really important. In the economic sector, we're mentioning bilateral cooperation between Indonesia and Tanzania, and we're looking at, historically, it's mostly in agricultural sectors, right? Without having to name every single commodity that we're exporting and importing, we want to talk about the climate change issue currently. And it's definitely going to affect the agricultural sector. How are Tanzania and Indonesia in terms of this particular trade relationship? Do Tanzania and Indonesia plan to build economic resilience or diversify, for instance? Because we know that climate change will affect food security in the future as well.
Of course. No, this is a very important question. As you know, both our countries have faced the tremendous impact of climate change, which has affected livelihoods, both of farmers, fishermen, and other sectors. And both Tanzania and Indonesia are party to COP process, where negotiations on a joint global effort to tackle climate change are taking place. We are quite happy with Indonesia's role and voice in that particular conversation, and we have been seeing eye to eye in terms of our common approach, especially on resources for mitigation of climate change and adaptation of climate impact. And we're very happy with Indonesia's role in the creation of a loss and damage fund and in the capitalization of that fund, in the operationalization of that fund that will enable our two countries to benefit in terms of resources that will help farmers and fishermen and cities such as Jakarta to build resilience, build infrastructure to tackle climate change.
All right. Minister, just talk more about the economy. State-owned enterprises, oil company Pertamina also form a strategic cooperation in the energy sectors with Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation, or TPDC, in Tanzania's Mzanzi Bay. I just really want to know, is there any follow-up of the cooperation of the oil and gas fields for both parties?
No, this is one very important area. Let me say that I was here in February last year as Minister for Energy. Yes, and I was here for a conversation with my colleague, Minister for Energy here, but also with Pertamina and other companies such as Medco, which also invests in Tanzania.
That's right.
Now, we in Tanzania are inspired by the progress which Pertamina made over the past 30 years. It started just like our own Tanzania Petroleum Corporation, but managed to build the capacity to now play at the global level.
Right.
Even to invest in Tanzania now. So the collaboration between Tanzania and Indonesia in oil and gas is very critical. And we're very happy that apart from investment that Pertamina is making in Tanzania, which it has been structured in a way that benefits Tanzania and Indonesia equally, but also the capacity building cooperation between Pertamina and TPDC to such an extent that, as you know, President Jokowi, when he was in Tanzania, they announced 100 scholarships for Tanzanian oil and gas technicians and students to come and study here. And as we speak, 5 have already here. And we expect more to be coming as time goes. And I think this generosity to share experience, to share knowledge, is critical, and we are grateful for the Indonesian government and Pertamina for doing this.
So guys, indeed, the South-South cooperation is plays a significant role in the cooperation between Tanzania and Indonesia.
And we have, we want to know more about this collaborative sharing of knowledge, but we want to take a short break, Minister, in just a moment. We'll be right back with you, and we'll continue this dialogue after the break. Please stay with us for this exclusive interview with Minister General Yusuf Makamba on See Today.
The beauty and and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to 3-Hour News Show, still with the Minister Makamba, and now we will continue the dialogue with the United Republic of Tanzania Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Your Excellency Januar Yusuf Makamba. So we're going to talk about the desires to cooperation between the two countries, and as we know that Tanzania has expressed its desire to learn infrastructure development from Indonesia.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Indonesia has shown interest in boosting investment in Tanzania. And are there any plan for Indonesia to enhance its investment in Tanzania by engaging the infrastructure development, Minister?
Yes, we are increasingly seeing a lot of interest from Indonesian companies to come to Tanzania. So far, the biggest investor, as you know, is Pertamina. Another potentially is Medco. Another potential is a company called ESA. It's a big conglomerate that does fertilizer and others. We are seeing more and more real estate infrastructure. For us is to, the challenge is to, not a challenge, the next step is to structure these deals, these agreements, especially in financing, whether it's PPP or whether Indonesian companies come there as just EPC contractors and build up. But the work that has happened here in Indonesia in terms of infrastructure development is very inspiring. And we are receiving a lot of inquiries from companies here to also do the same in Tanzania.
Well, that's certainly
interesting.
That's certainly a new opportunity for collaboration.
Absolutely.
Now, I would love to address another elephant in the room. You know, we want to address the blue-green economy, of course.
Yeah.
Both Tanzania and Indonesia have vast amounts of forests that could be conserved and also used as a source of income through carbon credits, right? So how is Tanzania's view on this matter, and how can both countries work together to take advantage of this opportunity that we have?
No, it's massive. As you know, Tanzania and Indonesia both share a key feature, which is the tropical rainforest in certain parts of our countries, and massive amount of natural forests that are carbon capture. Given what's going on now in the world in terms of the need for carbon sink and the development of carbon credit markets, there's a tremendous opportunity to learn from each other. So in Tanzania, we are moving ahead with a clear policy and regulation to make sure that we take advantage of the natural resources that exist in our country and provide an incentive for more conservation and protection, but also serve as a global good in terms of carbon capture. And this is an area where our two countries can learn from each other as well.
Okay, in our break session, we talked with our minister, and one of the bucket list is to visit our new capital, Nusantara.
Yeah.
But before that, Tanzania is also in the 1974 moved its capital from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we just really want to know what is in Tanzania administration in that moment and the lesson that we can share with Indonesian, the reason why you're moving the capital city. Share with us.
Yeah. So, look, we made this decision 50 years ago.
50 years ago?
Yes, and we have been moving for the past 50 years ago. Although finally, 3 years ago, there was a major push for all of us to move there. So, number one, it takes a political will and the strength and political conviction to make that move. Because it's massive change. Where you move a lot of civil servants, a lot of government people who are settled and comfortable in a particular city. And to ask them to go to another city, it takes an effort. And, but also you have to have not just that major political push, but you have to have an attraction pull to an area which you're moving to. That's what we learned. Therefore, key amenities in the areas which you want to move the city. Key incentives for people to move, and not only government people, but also private sector. Because cities are both built not by government alone, but also by the private sector. And all traditional old major cities emerged and existed for a particular reason, whether it was a major trade stop, a fishing town, or so on. And Jakarta existed for a particular reason for many years. And then for this new town, just like us in Dodoma, to be thriving, we have to give it more reason than an administrative capital. It has to be attractive, it has to be beautiful, it has to be sustainable, it has to provide better amenities. And we're very happy that's what the government is doing now, from what we read, from what we see. And it's a vision, an ambitious and bold step to move the entire capital to a new area. But, and each country make that choice for particular reasons. For us, is to get to a place where it's physically easier for every Tanzanian to get there. Secondly, it's more secure. And thirdly, is the redistribution of development, so to speak. Because major cities sometimes disproportionately suck in resources for development. So when you have a developed city like Dar es Salaam or Jakarta that in its own does not need an incentive to be built, and then you push an effort to another place, then you create another city that also provides life of its own. And as you know, 80% of GDP, global GDP, come from cities. So the more you build better, sustainable, greener cities, the more you grow your economies, and the more that becomes an incentive for growth. So I think it's something that is worth trying and worth undertaking, and we'll see how it works here.
Well, hopefully you'll get to see it. I mean, if you are arranging a pre-presidential visit to come to Indonesia, as you mentioned before, you can fit that into your schedule, perhaps, because it might be a point of interest.
No, I will.
Shall we go?
I'm curious.
You're making us want to move, consider to move now.
Let's
like,
go, guys.
okay, are we moving? But sir, you know, there's one thing that we would love to hear from your perspective. Now, you've mentioned that you've been to Indonesia before, and you have diplomatically also worked with a lot of your Indonesian counterparts before. What can you say about how Indonesia is navigating in terms of its influence and outreach, not just in the region, but to your region as well? In the last couple of years, what would you have to say about that?
No, we're actually very inspired, and we look at with admiration the positive tone, voice, posture that Indonesia has taken on the global arena.
Right.
The country is standing on issues of principle, whether it's Palestine and Israel issue. Indonesia is on the right side and is doing the right thing and is fearless in its advocacy. Whether it's in empowerment of the global South as well, to have a bigger voice in international forums. We see Indonesia's contribution there. President Jokowi has been a voice, a very strong voice in the international arena for the empowerment of the countries of the global South. A role that you play in the region here, in the ASEAN, in G20. The Indonesian presidency in G20 was very successful in setting the tone for how global diplomacy should be conducted. So Indonesia really is on the ascendancy now. And if you look at all the projections for the future, in terms of what's going to be the second, third, fourth largest economy in the next 50 years, always Indonesia is out there. So I think us who are friends and partners of this country only wish you well and hope that this momentum is kept. Our president, as I mentioned, she's visiting here from tomorrow, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, who gets along very well with President Jokowi. And we hope that the visit will also strengthen our relations and cooperation and partnership.
Wow. It is certainly a great, opportunity, and thank you for mentioning that Indonesia is such an inspiration to Tanzania. And we hope that we can walk the talk in terms of continuing to inspire you and to continue to this collaboration to help develop each other and learn and share knowledge for wherever means necessary. Because it's never a one-way of communication. It's never a one-way of learning. Because as much as we're learning from one person, of course, the other party will learn as well.
And the most important thing, Kai and Minister, we just don't need talking about the government-to-government relations, but we need the people-to-people contact. And we hope in the near future, Indonesian society and Tanzanian society will work hand in hand to make the collaboration, like student exchange, youth cultures, and please invite City to come.
It's already happening. So if you look at the numbers, the number of Indonesians visiting Tanzania are tripling every year.
Every year.
Right? So 2022, we're about 110. 2023, 300. We hope in 2024, 1,000, and so forth and so forth, to a point where we will have to justify a direct flight from here to...
We need to open direct flight from Jakarta.
As direct as possible.
It is.
I want to see Serengeti and have the chance to climb up the Kilimanjaro.
Yeah,
Like, I need
let's pack our luggage. Thank you so much, Minister January Yusuf Makamba, the United Republic of Tanzania Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, to sitting with us in our studio in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
After the break, 3-Hour News Show, we'll back with See the Story segment. So keep here on the 3-Hour News Show only on See Today.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for Steve Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar di itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for Steve Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar di itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show and See Today. It is our final hour. Well, we'll bring you the latest stories in our See the Stories segment. Of course, you're still with me, Kai Soria.
And my name is Aditya Warman for the latest updates. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, and YouTube at See Today News, and also with us.
I'm Hiliani Hidranto. But before anything else, let's see what's making the headlines for today.
From Indonesia, Indonesian President Joko Widodo handed over land certificates for locals in Central Java during his work trip earlier today.
Video game developer company Riot Games, which is owned by Chinese tech conglomerate Tencent, announced it will lay off 11% of its workforce.
Next doubles pair Jafar Hidayatullah and Aisyah Salsabila Putri Pranata have secured a ticket to 2024 Daihatsu Indonesia Masters.
And
And in just a moment, in our See the Story segment, we'll have a chat with dermatologists on how to reduce body odor naturally to guarantee a fresh scent all day long.
Hello everyone, welcome to See the Stories, the special segment of the 3-hour news show. Now before we talk with our guest today, I want to ask you, Adit.
Yes.
So
what was your question?
That's right. How do you reduce body odor? Do you apply deodorant or perhaps perfume or cologne or all of them?
First thing first is my rule, take a bath.
Of
like
course.
at least twice a day. And the second one is using deodorant.
Yeah.
Like I using the natural one.
Yeah.
And the third one is using your favorite parfum.
Oh, so all complete.
All
right?
complete, yeah.
All right.
And you might find it uncomfortable when you catch a whiff of your body odor and look frantically for a quick fix. So although it can be embarrassing and uneasy, it's actually a natural part of being human.
Bad body odor can be an embarrassing problem for many people, especially after a hard day's work. The unpleasant smell can be caused by a buildup of sweat and bacteria.
Yeah, most of people choose to apply deodorant, perfume, and cologne to hide their body scent. But those who are sensitive to chemical substances would prefer to use natural remedies to remove the smell.
So then what kind of natural remedies can help get rid of body odor? Well, to find out the answer, we have dermatologist Dr. Kardiana Dewi, or Doc Dale. Hi, good afternoon, Dr.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you so much for being
But
here.
Yanni,
And thank you so much for having
first thing
me.
first,
Yes, yes. Ah,
it smells so good.
of course.
Because we're talking about body odors today, right?
Exactly. So first of all, Dr.
Yep.
What are the most common causes of body odor? We're going straight into the problem.
So, all right. So body odors is when you smell your sweats. Comes in contact with your bacteria
Right.
on your skin.
Right.
Okay.
Smell. So sweats itself doesn't smell.
So it's
Ah.
bacteria.
So the
So
bacteria
when it
itself,
contact
right?
the bacteria and it gets smells, like sometimes sweet, sometimes sour, a bit tangy, or like onions. So like those smells come from the interaction from sweats and bacteria.
Got it. Okay.
So, just my random question.
Yes.
Like some people love your body odors. Like, I mean, like smell for some people, it's,
Yes.
I don't know, like natural. Sometimes
They like it?
it's bringing you more uplifted, your emotional attached with somebody.
Yeah.
It is normal for somebody to feel that
Sure.
way?
Let's talk about sweats then.
Sure.
Okay.
So, okay. This one I'm already bring the skin mannequin here.
Yeah.
So as we know that this is the skin layers.
Right.
This is the sometimes if we see the skin, this is the top layer of the skin, and this is the thing that when you cut the skin, you can see these layers.
Right.
So we have two sweat glands. So our body produces sweats, and it's produced by sweat glands. We have two sweat glands. First, if we call apocrine, and the other one we call it acrine.
Acrine and apocrine.
Yes. So this one is the acrine. If you want to see this is the white one, and this apocrine is here.
The black one.
Yes. So I just draw it this acrine.
So this
This is the acrine, and this is the apocrine.
This is
So
the
this is
apocrine. Okay.
very important lecture today.
Right.
So acrine has different character. It's located all over our body, and we have abundant on the palm and the soles.
Right.
That's the normal sweats.
Right.
Yeah.
So the secretes is like watery and clear.
Right.
So it's like no sense. Is this okay? And it's produced directly onto your skin surface. Whenever you do exercise, you become sweaty. That's the acrine.
Right.
That's the acrine. So this one, the white one on
white one,
the
yeah.
surface directly.
Yes.
The
What about
apocrine,
the black one?
other one,
Uh-huh.
is the one that is on specific locations only.
For example,
Armpit,
armpit,
groin,
groin.
and the nipple area.
Right.
So this one has more specific secrete. The secrete is more thick, more viscous and cloudy, which is like a very, very supporting places for bacteria to grow. They love it. So this one can make odor.
Okay.
So that's the apocrine also produce like a secrete that is viscous and cloudy and thick, and with also some substance, we call it pheromone.
Pheromone.
Pheromones is the hormone. Yeah, sometimes you feel like more attractive.
It is.
With the
Like what I talked
certain
about.
smells, right? So some people love it, but some people may have a very strong smell, so it's a bit disturbing.
problem with that.
Yes.
A little too strong.
Yeah.
A little too strong.
Yes, a little too
Yeah,
strong.
but I just really want to dig deeper about this kind of things that you
Yes.
tell us before. Do you think that if we just keep our specific bodies clean, not sweat, it can protect us from our odor? Like, just the logic one. We have to keep, it's normal to get sweat, right?
Yes.
But it's the matters of you touch the bacteria. But if we keep our body, like not touch the bacteria or not do very physical activities, we just like stay at home, air conditioner on, just Netflixing.
Yeah.
What would happen in our body?
So we have hundreds of bacteria all over our skin.
Ah.
It is there.
Yeah.
We have the home bacteria, like the microbiome and everything, on all the good and bad bacteria. It's
Including
there.
clothes, right?
Yes. On our skin we have so many bacteria, but don't say about the other thing outside our skin. But on our skin itself, we have our own bacteria.
Right.
So the bacteria is already there.
Yeah.
They just need a proper place to grow.
Right. Need platform.
Yes. When, for example, like you just stay at home.
Right.
But you just like, for example, the place like armpit.
Yeah.
If you have thick hair,
Right.
a lot of hair, then you have many places for the bacteria to grow, and also the sweat stay there and hold on to your hair and everything. It's gonna have more time to interact with the bacteria. Even though you don't go anywhere, you still get the smell.
Oh, I see.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of factors that make the smells or the body odor. That's why sometimes some people, even they have only less sweats, but the smell is quite strong. But some people already very sweaty, but doesn't smell.
Smell good.
But it's very unique, Yani. Like, if we talk about sweat, we categorizing some people coming from different area with specific food, for example.
Yes. Yeah, because
Do you think
of
that
what they eat.
food consumption is
Of
matters
course,
too?
of course, indeed. There are certain food that can increase smell of your body. We call it like sulfur food, like sulfur, like a sulfur. So sometimes, because you know sulfur, the smell is not good.
Yeah.
So the sulfur food, like first like garlic, onion, spices, and all the cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, red meat, it can increase the smell of your body.
Even broccoli, I didn't know that. Okay.
And there are also certain foods that not related directly to the odor, but it can increase your sweats. So whenever you have the sweats problem, it can make the body odor even worse, like alcohol, MSG, and also
MSG too?
Yeah, MSG.
Do not eat MSG then.
Yeah. And also the spices, the hot and spicy food. That's all like make you sweat more, and of course you can get more problems with the
So you have
body
to
odor.
watch what we eat.
Yes.
Right? Okay, but Doc Deo, if we're talking about body odor, is it hereditary? Like if your parents have problems with body odor, does that mean the kid will have body odor problem also?
But actually, there is no correlation if we see from the science.
Okay.
But then when we see even some ethnicity have very strong smell compared to other ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
I cannot mention the ethnicity, but like you know. But then we don't have any correlation scientifically, but we see it from the diet.
Yeah, the custom itself.
Again,
Yeah,
the diet, the environmental, and then the lifestyle, and the way they do their activity, and the way they take care of themselves. The personal hygiene is very important.
Okay.
So sometimes maybe it runs in a family with all the habits and everything, but not about the bacteria. Okay.
Yeah, like for us workers, like us here, like smells bad is something very, like in my opinion, disgusting. Excuse my language, but we might find in our workspace, right?
Yeah.
So like Many use antiperspirants or deodorants to get rid of body odor. So what is the impact if we use over?
So actually, let's talk about the main principle of deodorants and antiperspirant. So actually, deodorant works by masking your body odor with something more pleasant fragrance. But then antiperspirant, it tries to reduce how much you sweat.
That's the difference.
Yes, so that's why, of course, in this case of body odor, antiperspirant is better because it can reduce your sweats.
Wow.
So, of course, it's gonna help. And then if you use it too much, there are always risk of irritations, allergics when you put something too much. Or maybe sometimes it's very individualized. Other people use it, that's okay. But when I use it, I cannot be chill with that because my skin become inflamed, irritated, redness, or
you're right.
So that, of course, a common problem when you put it too much.
So if you know you're gonna work out on that, make sure you use antiperspirant.
Not deodorant.
Instead of deodorant. Okay, got it. All right, so Dr. Can you tell us what we have here? So we have basil leaves. And also tawas. Now,
tawas leaf.
can these substances reduce body odor?
I can hold this for you.
Okay. So actually, we have natural, natural components that can help to reduce. This thing, all of these three can help, but of course not really much, but worth to try. So the principle of this is because it has a good smell. So whenever we put it like this, mostly we can put it in the water, you boil it, and after that you get the water and you put it on a bottle spray.
Spray bottle,
Yes, then you can use it every day. Not only this, but tawas is one of the best one, have the antiperspirant effect. It can reduce the sweat. And also some people use like baking soda. Have you ever heard about it? Baking soda, some people use it
baking soda for baking?
Some people use it like as a powder, or they make a paste, they mix it with water, and after you mix with water and you put like the paste on your armpit.
Now I know, this is new information for me.
So after that, after it's already dry, then you have to wipe it off with the warm water. And sometimes you can also use like the lemon juice. They sometimes make the lemon with the water, and you put it on a spray as well. And sometimes they also can use I guess you ever heard about the cider vinegar?
Apple cider, yes.
I love vinegar.
The apple cider vinegar. You can mix it with water, and then you can put it on a spray as well. And also green tea. Green tea also like this. It's herbals. Then you can boil the green tea, and then you can use the water, put like a spray. But basically, the main principle of this natural product is it helps to reduce the production of the sweats. And some part of the acid have the antibacterial effect. So worth to try. But in my opinion, if you want to try something from natural, please do not put it directly on your armpit area.
What do you mean?
You have to try another area first, another skin part.
To test it?
Yes, just to test in order to make sure, because the armpit area is always closed.
It's very sensitive.
The skin also more sensitive, more thin. Whenever you put something irritating, and you might sweaty and make some movement, more frictions, and of course it can make more irritations.
I believe that Yanni have more questions because Yanni is a PonFit practitioner.
So we're gonna have more questions for you this show. And of course, you're still gonna be here, and we're gonna continue after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smack. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah. Baru kali ini.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain. Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with the sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Hi, still with us on See the Stories, the special segment of the 3-hour news show. Still with our speakers here talking about sweat. So, doctors, I just really want to know, are there specific hygiene practices that can naturally reduce body odor?
Of course, personal hygiene is very important.
Personal hygiene.
Yes.
Noted.
First, make sure that you have your skin clean.
Yeah.
So you have to take a bath twice a day. And then
Twice a day.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And don't forget to wash the armpit area, the special area, armpit, groin.
Yeah.
Very important. Why armpit more? Because we know whenever we reduce, especially for those who have more hair.
Yeah.
Right.
So first, make sure that your skin is clean. You take a bath twice a day. You can use the antibacterial soap. And then the second thing, make sure it's shaved. The armpit hair is shaved.
Or wax.
If you have body odor.
Is wax okay also?
It's okay, but the wax normally more risk to its skin irritation.
Yeah, you open your pore.
Because you put the tape, a special tape, you put it all over the skin and then you just splash like that.
That's destructive.
Yes, the risk of irritations is higher. Just put the normal shaving, but make sure you make the hair cut. Shave. And then the second thing, the third one, always use clean clothes.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Reuse your clothes.
But sometimes I use that. I reuse my clothes.
Of course. But if we know that we have a problem, if we don't have any problem, it's okay.
It's okay.
But if you have problems, of course you have to try to reduce. No clothes that use twice. Only one time.
No
always
clothes.
use it.
No clothes twice. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fourth one, whenever you use clothes, use the loose-fitting one. Of course, the made from the natural one, like cotton.
Yeah.
It's more and absorb more sweats.
Yeah.
And easily, of course, it's better for us. And then the fifth one, use the antiperspirant as well.
There we
Or sometimes right now, you have a special tape even that you can put on your clothes, you know?
Yeah.
They have
I heard about
a tape. Yeah. You put it on your clothes so it's not make it look wet.
Yes.
You put it there. Of course, you have to change every single day.
Right.
So personal hygiene, you take a bath twice a day. Make sure your armpit shave. Use the clean clothes and also the clean everything with the good fabrics, the one from natural, not the one from synthetic, like polyester, nylon. Of course, it cannot absorb sweat. So it
Or maybe
smells.
Eat some very...
Or change your diet.
Yeah, diet.
Yes.
Clean.
Yeah, of course, besides the personal hygiene, you have to maintain or try to remove all the smells food. The one that we already talked before.
Okay.
All right.
Doctor, it is our tradition before we wrap up our talk show with games. We're gonna play games. Now this time, Kai will lead today's game. So
Yay, Kai, please come on.
I heard something about smelly food. Okay. What are we eating that are not supposed to be eating? No,
It's
I'm
not
going
supposed
to
to be eating. It's not supposed to be eating, Kai.
Well, you know what? We are going to play a game of myth and fact.
All right.
So Adit will play against Yanni. We'll have statements in the plasma. We're going to play myth and fact.
right.
And
All right.
Doctor, you are going to tell us the answer, which one is right,
All right.
and justify the answer why something is either a myth or a fact. So guys, you ready?
Ready.
Thanks.
All right. So I'm supposed to be standing right here, if I'm not mistaken. Are we ready?
Yes,
I'm
sure.
ready.
We're gonna head on
ready.
to the very first question. All right.
Plasma,
How
please.
Here
we go.
Okay, myth or fact? Body odor may be caused by the presence of armpit hair.
Fact. We learned
Fact.
this today.
Wow, aren't we glad that we're shavers? Is that true?
Of course it's true. That's the fact.
Yay!
We already said before, when you have more hair, the more space and time that it
For
can
bacteria.
hold. Yes, the bacteria can hold and interact with the sweats for quite longer time. So the body odor can even become more stronger.
Ooh, it's gonna intensify things.
When
Shave.
it's clean,
Don't
they
forget
have
shave.
they have no space to stick there.
Keep it
Shave,
clean, guys.
shave,
Keep
shave.
it
Yes, keep it clean.
Well done to you. That's 1-on-1. Both have a point. Now we'll go to our
1-1.
second
All right.
myth or fact. Individuals with larger sizes are more prone to experience body odor.
All right. It comes from the. All right.
I'm gonna say myth.
I'm gonna say myth.
So, doctor?
So I'm very sorry. That's a fact.
Because they're prone to sweat more.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. It doesn't mean anything. But like individual with larger body, we call it like, okay, obesity or overweight. First, of course, they produce more sweats.
That's
and
right,
second
yeah.
thing, they have more folds.
That's
Skin
true.
folds.
folds,
Here,
yeah.
here, more skin folds. The folds hold the sweats longer.
You're right.
And the sweats
That's
get
logic.
more time to contact with the bacteria.
That's right.
And more odor.
So odor comes when sweat gets into contact with bacteria.
Agree.
Ah, that's what I'm learning along the way here. You guys learned it
Totally.
before me.
Yes.
Important fact. So sweat, bacteria. Keep bacteria away.
Yes.
Next, please. So both of you already got still in 1-1.
Yes.
Myth or fact? The effective masking of body odor can be achieved through the use of perfume and cologne. Some overtly so. Do you think it's working?
Fact.
Is it?
So actually, this one is a myth. I mean, because like perfume and cologne doesn't really reduce this. We mean the body odor, the one that's smelly, right?
Yeah.
It cannot reduce. Like deodorant and antiperspirant can help.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But perfume and cologne,
It's a
just help
perfume and
diffuse a
cologne.
bit,
Yeah,
but not
yeah.
masking.
So yeah, because
Not really effective.
Because
It might-
despite the cologne that you smell of the person has body odor, you can smell an underlining smell. If you get what I mean. It's like this
Agree,
sweaty
right?
smell, right?
Agree. So if we call it effective masking, not really.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow, so
Sorry.
we've
Now I
learned
know. Thank you so much,
so
Doc.
You're very
much.
welcome.
Well, there you go, guys. 1-1.
1-1, yeah.
Even very, what we call in
Very
Indonesian, synchronized, compact, yeah.
It's very synchronized.
Very synchronized. Doctor, thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome.
Well, in a
Thank
short
you.
time I've been with you, I've actually learned to take a lot of notes. I'm going to take notes on what are the smelly foods later from these two. So
Yes.
that's going to be a topic of conversation. Doc, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For sharing
Thank
your
you.
knowledge.
Sharing with us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see the stories will continue after the break. Stay with us right here.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Maris.
Pemain.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable through such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
A group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Viewers, welcome back to See the Stories.
Welcome back.
Now, after discussing about body odor, let's talk about fragrances. What is your favorite fragrances? Is it sweet? Is it fresh note? Is it perhaps something spicy or musky? What about the smell of money?
I personally like.
I love what you just said. I was like, what does money smell like? Is it musky? It's not fresh. But like the smell of new money, I get it. It's like dusty.
New money.
Like paper.
Smells very good.
Like paper and storage. but
yeah, I want to know what are your
Mine, I love the note of fruits.
I
Like
fruit.
citrusy, like pomegranate, and apple, something like fruity. And the second layer is like woody. And the third layer is musk. It's a perfect combination.
Very detailed, huh?
I love parfum.
Yeah.
What about you?
He's like a walking perfume. Are you masking something? I'm kidding. No, I love lavender.
Lavender.
I
So
like
flower.
fruity. No. Lavender is not a sweet flower, if you get what I mean. I'm not a big fan of sweet flowers, but lavender has this deep tone of scent. Other than that, if not lavender, I'm a huge fan of like fruity,
Yeah,
fruity.
same. What about
Fresh
you?
fruity.
Anything that is not too strong.
Anything
That
that's
is
not too strong?
Yes, some perfume just like too strong, you know?
What about vanilla? Like girls?
Ooh, vanilla.
No, I'm not into sweet spices.
Caramel, vanilla.
Yeah.
The only spice I'm into is cranberry and cinnamon. That's usually the Christmas spices.
Smells so
I like
good.
that.
All right. So a fragrance line called Liquid Money.
There we
Liquid
go.
Money
There we go.
has created a cologne that is claimable to give consumers the sense of money. Yeah. Designed for both men and women, his money and her money are the colognes that are set to capture the essence of financial success.
Interesting.
I love it.
The company's founder, Patrick McCarthy, says he was inspired to create the cologne after noticing how the smell of money
Wow.
would often trigger positive associations with power, success, and confidence. So how does money actually smell like? According to Liquid Money, the scent is a complex blend of citrus, wood, and
Citrus.
musk.
See, my notes, like my three notes:
yeah.
citrus, wood, and musk.
The top notes of this fragrance are said to be bright and invigorating, while the heart notes are warm and inviting, added with deep and sophisticated base notes. But it's very masculine.
It is.
It's
It should be masculine.
It is a, yeah.
Now, the cologne has been met with mixed reactions. Some people are intrigued by the novelty of the idea, while others are skeptical. Despite the mixed reviews, the fragrance has been featured in major media outlets and has generated plenty of buzz on social media. So whether you're a high-powered executive or just a dreamer, Money Cologne is a fragrance that is sure to make a statement.
Well, if you already have money, why y'all need to smell like money?
That's true. All right, the next one is from Le Labo. Did I say it right? The French?
Le Labo.
Le Labo, a French fragrance brand with its petrichor scent.
Petrichor scent.
It is the smell of that magical feeling during heavy rain after a long dry spell, and it's one of the most beautiful olfactive phenomena in nature.
Interesting.
Smells like humidity.
Yeah.
Petrichor is the scientific term for the earthy smell we experience after rain. It's a scent that invokes nostalgia, freshness, and a sense of renewal. Le Labo, a brand known for its minimalist and unconventional approach to perfumery, has managed to translate the petrichor aroma into a wearable fragrance with by 19. It's 19 in French again?
Yeah.
Launched in 2019, the Eau de Parfum has quickly become famous among those seeking a unique and evocative.
What we just changed to French. So Bay 19 is described as the crisp, wet, drenched effect that waters give the earth after rain. Bay 19 may not be the typical crowd-pleasing fragrance, so it's a scent that transports you to a specific moment in time. So the popularities of Bay 19 speaks to a growing trend in perfumery and the desire for fragrances that connect us to nature and evoke specific emotion. So in a world dominated by synthetic scents and mass-produced perfumes, Bay 19 offers a breath of fresh air.
Okay. Our next perfume would probably raise your eyebrow, like mine, but a perfume with a funeral home fragrance. Smells like Wednesday.
Yeah, so the scent is associated with the deceased loved one and has the power to take us back in time and evoke powerful and fond memories.
Yeah, the perfume is a blend of classic white flowers, including lilies, carnations, gladiolus, and chrysanthemums with stems and leaves. So the perfumes released by Demeter Fragrance Library also has a hint of mahogany and the Orient carpets. So when the founder of this perfume, Christopher Gable, smelled the perfume for the first time, he admitted that it smells like his grandfather's funeral. That is why the perfume is called Funeral Home.
You know what, in Indonesia, it's true that funerals smell so good.
It is,
because
but
you're
romantic.
surrounded by flowers, as much as weddings.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by flowers, frangipanis, jasmine.
Right?
Jasmine is very Indonesian, right? Frankenstein?
Yeah. It smells like funeral.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's right. The Frankenstein monster. Well, we'll be back with your daily dose of entertainment in the last segment of the show. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned with us on the 3-Hour News Show on See Today.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Deja vu. With sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Are you smelling yourself now too? Just kidding.
Always good.
Always happy here. Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show on See Today. Now, the Indonesian government has announced plans to allocate around 4.8 billion rupiahs for this year's pre-employment program.
Now, the program aims to help boost economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
Indonesian Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs Airlangga Hartanto has confirmed the continuation of a pre-employment card program this year, aiming to reduce unemployment rate in the country. The government will therefore allocate a budget of around 4.8 trillion rupiah. Over the past 4 years, the pre-employment card budget is estimated to have reached around 64 trillion rupiah. The program is expected to help with the economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
2 tahun terakhir, Kartu Prakerja telah melakukan pelatihan pada masyarakat Indonesia dan dapat diakses oleh masyarakat di 514 kabupaten kota. Dan kalau kita lihat lapangan kerja kita terus meningkat 1 tahun, sekitar 4 juta angkatan kerja yang perlu masuk ke lapangan kerja.
The pre-employment card program has helped distribute trained workers across various sectors. From 2020 to 2023, the program has engaged 17.5 million participants.
Nah, kalau dari statistik tampak bahwa 40% dari peserta prakerja sudah bekerja, 60% menganggur. Dari yang menganggur itu ketika disurvei. Jadi surveinya adalah dalam periode yang berjalan. Jadi kita tidak tracking terus setelah 3-4 tahun. Tapi dalam waktu 1 tahun sebanyak 30% sudah bekerja. Dari yang sudah bekerja ini 50% menjadi wirausahawan, 50% menjadi karyawan, buruh maupun pegawai.
The card distribution will use a layered control system involving monitoring and user feedback. Such approach aims to facilitate the seamless execution of both mix and match training program and participant engagement. Indonesia faced a challenge of 7.86 million unemployed individuals in August last year, constituting around 5.32% of a total workforce, which stands at 147.71 million people. Arif Subakti and Reza Anindita for See Today.
And now for your daily dose of entertainment, we begin with... Is that how you do it? The series. Okay, you do it, please.
It's like sikit. It's Calvin Klein. The mainstream series stars Rio Dewanto, Dimas Anggara, Ben Joshua, and Yoshi Sudarso, among others.
So the rom-com follows 6 complicated love stories. The trailer sees main characters in shock during a tarot card reading session. The reader then reveals each card chosen by them. Now, mark your calendars, people, as will grace your TV screen on January the 31st.
You did great, Yani.
I sound like a gecko.
You know,
right.
it's like ketchup, you know.
All right, we move on to our in Asia. Korea's latest action series is Shop for Killers. has aired exclusively on Disney Plus Hotstar.
Starring Lee Dong-wook and Kim Hyo-jin, this crime thriller may be the perfect way to spend your free time for the next few weeks.
It's serious, right?
A Shop for Killers is an 8-episode series that tells the story of a struggling female student called Jung Jan, who fends off a group of hitmen after she said her final goodbye to her uncle. Adapted from a popular original novel by Kang Ji-young, A Shop for Killers is set in modern-day Korea, where Jan is determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious death of her uncle, Jung Jin-man. It all began when her uncle decided to return to his childhood home. But a barrage of highly skilled assassins and killer drones attacked him as he begins to uncover some secret. Afterwards, Jen begins to remember the valuable lessons his uncle taught her and uses them to survive.
그냥 열어주면 안 돼. 할 수 있겠어?
Feeling confused and cornered, Jan must work quickly to find out the reason behind the attack on her uncle's childhood home.
지금부턴 삼촌처럼 생각하고 움직이는 게 좋을 거야. 살아남기 위해서는.
Starring Lee Dong-wook and Kim Hyo-jin, A Shop for Killers is now streaming on Disney Plus Hotstar, with new episodes coming every Wednesday.
Oh, I mean, some interesting recommendations. Do you have any? I mean, we're almost approaching midweek, so maybe we need to watch something.
I don't have any recommendation.
You don't have any?
I don't watch.
No? Well,
no.
I heard that he's a binger, so once he starts watching, he'll okay. So if it's a series, you would wait until it's all out, right?
Yeah.
So you can just binge it at once.
Oh, yeah. Or you can just watch like older TV series, you know?
What I usually do. What's your favorite?
Friends, of course. You can watch it over and over again. What about you?
Well, I have recently found Charmed again.
Where?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right.
Well, that does it for today's episode of the 3-Hour News Show on See Today. Be sure to also follow us on social media through Instagram, X, and YouTube channel at See Today News.
See Today can now be enjoyed on Australian Foxtel's OTT platforms, Flash app, or in Macau Cable TV channel 84. If you're in the Philippines, you can also watch the Converge Vision channel 58 and Singtel Singapore channel 15.
Yeah, for Telkomsel users, you can also watch See Today on Maxstream app. Don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel, and be sure to also catch our morning show program at 6 a.m. My name is Aditya Warman.
I'm Hiliani Hidranto.
I'm Kai Surya, and as always, to close the show, we'd love to say,
See Indonesia, see the world, see today. Bye.
we're heading for IKN. We left Balikpapan, and it feels like an adventure. I'm looking forward to this. You know what I love about the forest? It's a mystery of its own. So we passed Samboja Junction, which will become the center of logistic distribution. It's also planned to become development area where people can live in the future. And it certainly is a very vast land. And there's still wildlife. There's a monkey. There's monkeys over there by the road. I'm a little bit scared to open the window now. But yeah, it says warning signs. I mean, this is literally the wild Indonesia. And I'm loving this. So different from the cities that we have so far.
The Nusantara capital city will be the symbol of Indonesia's identity and the country's economic center, which will bring a multiplier effect in realizing an Indonesian-centric development. President Joko Widodo entrusted Bambang Susantono as the head of this landmark project. So how does Bambang Susantono navigate the relocation of the capital beyond the physical elements and create a city with international tech and innovation-based competitiveness? In the next hour, we'll have an in-depth talk with the chief of Nusantara Capital City Authority, Bambang Susantono.
So we're about to start the morning shadowing the daily activities of the chief of Nusantara Capital City Authority himself, Bapak Bambang Susantono. Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
I mean, this is a pleasure for us because we had a chance yesterday to go to Nusantara and to see the project, how it's going. And I have a little confession to make. I was present during the inauguration of the Point Zero in March, and I did not recognize the place anymore. So that's some swift, in 1.5 years, a lot of things have been done, a lot of plannings have been done. So I would like to congratulate the head of authority for that, because that must take a lot of work. So how have you been feeling in this past couple of days? You've been traveling a lot, I see.
Yeah, I'm traveling a lot like a yo-yo, yeah, with Jakarta and Balikpapan, and on the field. Of course, we are now managing 3 offices, one in Jakarta, one here in Balikpapan, and one is in the middle of the construction sites, because we want to coordinate with various stakeholders, especially those who built the infrastructure facilities and others, such as the Ministry of Public Works. They're working hard to keep all the momentum and to keep all the planning on the track. So yeah, it's good things to manage this project, but a lot of challenges, of course, right? But I think that we are still on the track.